If you look at the Gartner studies, by 2025, labor volatility is expected to cause 40% of organizations to actually report a material business loss. And it's really forcing businesses today to start looking at their talent strategy from acquisition all the way to resilience. So with that, if you think about how things look a little different than they used to, you have earlier this year where less talent was costing more money. You have the inflation costs that are continuing to creep up. You also have the supply chain challenges that have continued to plague organizations as well as just individuals. As an example, I know myself seeing people building homes around me, some of them being delayed months because they can't actually get the products that were expected to be there. So what a lot of organizations have been doing is looking at how can they create a more people-centric strategy to get in front of retaining talent and keeping them. Some of those things are around flexibility to the programs that people are able to be involved in. It might be freedom of choice. Not everyone today works the way that they used to. A lot of times you might have people who have both their own device that they use for their cell phone as well as a corporate provided device, putting two things in their pocket throughout the day, causing a little bit of frustration for them in that regard, as well as having a fair and accurate compensation model when it comes to who they are, what their job entails, and what it takes for them to be the most successful in that. Now, in the last few years, people are really moving jobs and looking for what is the right fit. So what is the right fit among the things that we're seeing out there? It's the flexibility and the freedom that employees are really looking for from a recruiting standpoint, being able to lead with that, and also give the company the flexibility to make that program fit what the business goals are. Jonathan, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I think it's also important to consider the impact of new and younger generations of workers. We know that millennials are now the dominant generation in the workforce, and with Gen Z now expected to reach 30% of the workforce by 2030, these younger workers are creating real challenges for employers, with expectations of choice, flexibility, and fairness being their default. And high-performing organizations really need to consider new and different ways of supporting and empowering their workers, or they risk losing that all-important resource.
That's actually a really great call out, and I appreciate you actually sharing that, Jonathan. It's definitely something that's underway, and it's getting caught up in a vicious cycle of trying to match compensation that can be costly and creating an inequity long-term. So instead of taking a disruptive approach and looking at the mix and match of all of these different strategies, some of those things come with some other ways that we might look at that. That said, let's dive in a little bit more to how we at Motus see that happening across organizations.